Yeah, I mean, obviously we've got to remember that it's not just about the march that's gone on today. It's about the issues that have taken place, and the fact that politics is affected by all of this. Yeah, I mean, like I say, it's really really important that what gets discussed today, we bear in mind there's a general election coming up, and there's things that can be changed in our society. It's really really important that people get involved in politics because it's the only way we can change our country. I know you hear a lot of people on Twitter say things about revolution and violence on the streets and stuff. I promise you, we don't want that. What we want is for things to change at the ballot box. What we want is for good governance in our country, and what we want is to be listened to. There's issues with both major parties, I think it's safe to say, and obviously we want to make sure that we get a change, is what we want, a real change. So thank you very much, Gordon. We'll keep going around hands. I believe it was...
Actually,
go on, Jim.
Guerilla next, because he was there first, but his hand fell down.
No problem. Go on, Guerilla.
It's in next.
Evening all, how are we doing? Good to speak to you all. Basil, I forgot to say last time we spoke, I could actually, I'm sure Craig could probably do it as well, and we could actually live stream this if you wished through our channels on YouTube. That's just something that if you wanted to do it, I'll leave that down to you. You can say to me later on if that's something that would be optimal. I would certainly bring in a number of viewers to this stream. So that's just something that you can decide whether that's something that you want to do or not, and I can certainly stream it through the Guerilla TV channel. So yeah, we've been
just answer your question there, Guerilla. If anyone, this is a public forum. It's been recorded. If anyone wants to live stream this, you are more than welcome to. I don't mind at all. So yep, feel free to do it.
Right, mate, that's fine. So we've been down covering TR for years now, years and years. We were down when he was being persecuted by the Lawfare of the British state for spurious accusations, while people who were committing mass rapes were getting protected by the law, allegedly. There's a couple of things. I stayed in Dubai. I lived with Muslims. There's a lot of guys from the Middle East who are Muslims I love dearly as well. But what happened to me was when I was attacked by a Pakistani taxi driver. It's not my word against him. He admitted to attacking me. And there was other complications in that case, which I'll probably talk about later. I won't talk about that just now. But I read the Quran and understood what it said. And basically what the Quran says in a nutshell is that it's a book of war, which has been happening since Muhammad went to Medina. And it's basically a book of war to have sexual slavery and murder anybody that's not in the cult. So it doesn't matter if you're Buddhist or if you're Hindu. Don't forget the massacre in India was the largest genocide that ever happened when the Muslims invaded India. So that's something that's not talked about. There's been 270 million people or 240 million people murdered under Islam in all regions. There's 52,000 Christian Nigerians been murdered since 2009. I don't know where the Black Lives Matter is on that. We've already seen the mass rapes in the UK by Muslim rape gangs. Obviously, in the Quran and the Hadith, there was a woman called Maria or Mary the Copt. Mary the Copt was a sex slave that Muhammad had, who he obviously raped. So that's why rape is not the same as it is in the West. They don't really class rape, so forced sex with a non-Muslim woman isn't really a thing based on their religious beliefs. And their religious beliefs are one to supersede the liberal values in the UK. Also, Islam is theocratically fascist because it's a political ideology as well. So people don't understand this. There's only, I think, 3 democratic Muslim countries in the world: Turkey, Indonesia, and I can't remember what, Pakistan, I think, is only 3 democratic. The rest are theocratically totalitarian monarchistic type regimes. And there's not going to be any Christians that lead any of those nations. So once the globalists have allowed so many Muslims in. The country will probably never be liberal or predominantly non-Muslim, or you might not even get non-Muslim leaders leading the country anymore, because it doesn't happen in any other Muslim country. If you can tell me a Muslim country that's had a non-Muslim leader, then I would be enlightened at that. The other thing you were talking about the National Socialism. National Socialism, there's things that people don't understand because we've been misled. It's like calling us Scots when the Brit. As I was telling you earlier on about the Britons of Strathclyde who were here first. The Scots and Scots Gaelic. Scots Gaelic's basically Irish. The Scots and Irish is the same thing. Scots is an Irish tribe. So the Britons were here first. The Picts, we were probably Brythonic. That's what I was telling you the other day. Same will be miseducated on National Socialism. Hitler was in a Jewish in 1919. Hitler was in a Jewish communist political party. Who was run by a Jewish scholar. I've covered all this on the Guerilla TV channel. If you look back, I've actually covered all this. National Socialism is out of Marxism. It's not the same thing. It's more similar to the identitarian woke left, what's called woke, but certainly the identitarian left. National Socialism is an identitarian left-wing ideology. Nationalism or race-based nationalism or ethnic-based nationalism is not a left or right thing. People have got this conception that nationalism and ethnic nationalism or racist race-based nationalism is a right-wing thing. It's not. It can be found in any part of the political spectrum. So that we're being miseducated. Fascism came out of anarcho-syndicalists. The anarcho-syndicalists and anarcho-communists are basically Antifa. So the fascism is almost a split of libertarian communism, and it's split into some authoritarian. It's almost the Communist Party in China are almost a fascist party, not quite a pure fascist party. And certainly the moves towards the globalist one world technocratic order is based probably similar to globalist fascism than anything else. So we've got this lack of understanding of where people are in the political spectrum. So both fascism and National Socialism are of the authoritarian left, just as the woke or identitarian Marxism, postmodernist Marxism, is of the identitarian left. And people don't understand where things are in the political spectrum. That's why anything can be described as far right, far right, far right. It's that Islam's killed the most people, followed by Marxism or communism, communism. It's killed 100 million people, then followed by National Socialism, which is a derivative of Marxism. Which is not the same as the Marxism, as I said, it's more in kin to the identitarian left. Also, what was the other thing I was going to say there? This is something that people say, like fascism and National Socialism are the same thing. There was 10,000 Jews in the Italian Fascist Party, while National Socialism was anti-Semitic and killed Jews. So that is a distinct difference between fascism. Had 10,000 Jews in the Italian Fascist Party who were protected when they were rounding up Jews in Italy. And the Nazis were rounding up Jews in National Socialism. These two are different ideologies. Fascism was the same in Spain. So that was a fascist ideology under Franco in Spain as well. But that was probably fascism. But again, when Orwell was writing 1984, he was fighting for the communists. And he'd already seen the lies in Animal Farm and all the other things. I think some people think 1984 is an instruction manual and not an actual warning, political warning. But we've got three problems in the UK. Well, the main problem is the globalists. and the globalists are backing the communists, because the communists are believing a one world open borders type, and the Islamists who again believe in a one world open borders type, and both of these open border globalist ideologies, the caliphates and openist ideology, so is Marxism, are both under the globalist agenda to have a one world technocracy, which they would basically control, and they'll control the military. So this is again for the wars in Israel, the wars in Ukraine, the movement towards the one world government, the one world currency, which is more terrifying even than both Islam or communism, even though these are murderous ideologies. So the fact that you've been gaslit into thinking that National Socialism or fascism was far right, I would suggest that probably Islam's further right than even both of these. But as other commentators rightly pointed out, that both National Socialism and Islam are intrinsically anti-Semitic to their core. And the globalists, although not anti-Semitic in themselves, because there's some Jews with the globalists as well, the globalists are not just Jewish people, although there are obviously the issues with the main families that are probably behind that. That it's not just Jews that are in the globalist agenda.
What a load of absolute shite.
What?
The Jews are behind globalism.
No, I didn't say that. You
Where
didn't
on
listen
earth
to me.
do
You
you
didn't-
get
you didn't
that?
listen
2
to me.
seconds,
I've
2
listened
seconds,
to
2
it.
seconds.
Mate, you've
IJ,
rambled
2
on for
seconds, 2
20
seconds.
fucking
Wait a
minutes.
minute, I never
Get
said
someone
that.
else.
2
I never
seconds.
said that.
Look, it's going to be a long day,
I never
everyone.
said that.
Just let Guerilla finish his point, right? Just let him finish his point.
I never-
IJ,
I never-
you can come back and say. Go on,
No,
Guerilla.
no. That was actually said that the Jews were behind the globalism. I agree. I don't agree with that. I do not think that the Jews are the only people behind the globalist agenda. The globalist agenda is made up by many people in many different continents. The globalist agenda is through the WEF. If you see the attendance of the WEF, it's many different people, organisations, and many different actual countries' leaders. It's not just the Jews. I'm not saying that, so you misinterpreted what I was trying to say there. But
Oh shit! I misinterpreted.
IJ, I'll drop you down. I'll drop you down, listener. Let him finish what he's saying. We've got a long day. You're going to be able to speak, mate. Go on, Guerilla.
There's too many people sensitive.
He's spoken for half an hour. Give someone else a chance. For fuck's
Right,
sake, Basil.
I've removed him. Guerilla, carry on.
So it's not just that. So you've got to understand the world, the actual main protagonist in this whole scenario is the WEF and the Bilderberg Group. These are the ones that are behind, whether it be open door immigration or the overtaxation or wanting us to rejoin the EU. These are the people that are behind it, and these are the people that are behind they don't care why Tommy Robinson's down protesting down in London just now, and when I was down covering when he was doing the sex. The Muslim rape gangs down. He was doing the commentaries down in Watford or Telford, or when he was locked up in jail by the British establishment, who are basically shells for the globalists, and that includes all of the main parties that are basically in Westminster just now, or in Holyrood for that matter. Every one of them is shelling for the globalist agenda. So I hope I covered enough of the various topics to get a better understanding from a political science point of view what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, look, Guerilla, I don't necessarily agree with a lot of the things you said there. I'm very sceptical of that kind of talk, but I understand that people have different perspectives, and it's completely normal to disagree with people, especially on things like today. If anyone wants to talk about anything Guerilla said, and I include IG in that, and I haven't booted him from the room permanently, he can come back in, right? I actually meant to move him down to listener, and I clicked boot by mistake. But the point is that I'm happy for people to do it, but you've got to wait your turn. This is going to be a contentious topic today, right? This is going to be a real contentious topic today. So people have to understand that you need to wait your turn and try to be as respectful as possible. It doesn't benefit anybody to keep jumping in over the top of people like that, especially this early on in the space. We've just started. We've got at least another 3.5 hours of this, right? So let's try and keep things calm, at least for a time period, a decent period of time, okay? Anyway, White Mouse, who I believe...
Basil,
White Mouse?
just sorry, Basil. Can I just say, what a fucking disrespectful fucking thing to say as well. You were a fucking great bloke. You got a great space every time. That's really disrespectful.
Thanks, Goldfinger.
Personally,
Thanks,
I
Goldfinger.
think.
But it's White Mouse next, who I believe it was Misty a second ago, and now it's White Mouse. Is this a reference to Is this a reference to Nancy Wake?
Oh, you know Nancy, brilliant. Oh, wow, I'm impressed by